This pure rendezvous.
GM let her pick her favorite color and interior. To Christy, it rides.
Live from the CBS2 Information Network, this is breaking news.
Good morning, Michael Pomeranz along with Lisa Hill. Some breaking news to report. You're looking at a live picture of the World Trade Center where we have just received word that a plane apparently has crashed into the tower, one of the two towers. At this point, we don't have further information regarding the type of plane, the extent of injuries.
Right.
Obviously, it looks quite severe. We don't know about the people who may have been in the building or in that plane as well. We have several crews on their way to the scene right now.
Right, Marcella Palmer, who's with us at CBS2 News this morning, every morning, is on her way literally right now. And as soon as she gets set up, we're going to go to her live and get them information. Actually, we understand she's on the telephone. Marcella, what can you tell us?
Yeah, we're right here. We're trying to get away.
Oh, there's signal this one out. Okay, you're looking live, folks, tuning in to what has apparently happened. A plane has crashed into one of the World Trade Towers. We're not sure if that's building number 1 or 2, but obviously a lot of black smoke. We don't know what size plane that was, whether it was a Cessna, a Piper, or even larger. Here's a close-up view as one of our Metro cams zooms in on the actual scene. You can see that plane has definitely affected multiple floors, at least 1, 2, possibly 3 floors and further. Apparently there's smoke on the right side of the building as well as on the back side. Now we're again trying to get in contact with Marcella Palmer. We're sending numerous crews to this story. This is a major, major story that is happening live right
You're
now.
looking at it for the first time, as are we, so bear with us as we try to piece together exactly what's happened. Again, these are reports that we're getting now that a plane is in fact what had crashed into the World Trade Center. We, from what we see, can't really imagine it being much else, but these are, again, only reports as you look live at the scene.
Michael, our producer, is just telling me that we understand it's possibly a 737 jet that has crashed into tower number 1 of the World Trade Center building. Possibly a 737 jet that just crashed into tower number 1 of the World Trade Center. We understand. Go ahead.
We're just hearing now that the debris obviously falling to the streets below. We're gathering some information. Folks familiar with the financial district know how congested it is down there, how tight the streets are, how narrow the area to navigate is for drivers as well as for pedestrians. So quite a scene down there right now toward the financial district. Again, you said Tower 1?
Yes, Tower number 1, World Trade Center Tower number 1. Obviously the upper floors there. We're not sure where that plane was originating from. We're not sure if it was trying to land, which airport. Of course, we're working on that. You still see some fire, fresh fire from another part of the building there as we zoom in on our cameras there.
We have Marcella Palmer now joining us with a little bit more information. Marcella, where are you and what can you tell us? Marcella, you there? Okay, apparently we're still trying to establish connection with Marcella Palmer as she works the scene. You could hear in the background there, though, some of the chaos as you would imagine would be going on in that area. Heavy area for commuters, heavy area for commerce.
And not to mention the thousands of people who work at the World Trade Center. I'm sure it's sheer chaos there. We're unsure how many passengers were on that plane, how many people are affected at the building. As you said, Michael, debris was seen falling to the street below, which makes sense considering that a possible 737 jet may have crashed into World Trade Center Tower number 1. This just happened, folks. You're looking live at our cameras at the billowing black smoke from multiple floors. We understand, I'm sure, rescue crews, the mayor, everybody's on their way down there to find out more details on this. And we're placing as many calls as we can to find out more details. And of course, we're going to stay on this story and bring you the details as soon as we get them.
Taking a look right now, if we could, just from the Associated Press, they're coming across with bulletins now confirming that it was a plane that has crashed into the World Trade Center. Again, this is according to the Associated Press as we gather our own people down there at the scene, taking a look at what's going on in front of you. You're seeing it, folks, for the very first time, as are we. A reminder that what we're able to see from our fixed-mounted cameras at points all across the city are just what you're seeing right there, that apparently, from the reports, again, by the Associated Press and from what you're seeing, that a plane, possibly a 737 jet, hit Tower 1 of the World Trade Center in the financial district. Reports that debris falling to the ground. And that's where we are with the story right now as we continue to effort some more information for you. We have Marcella Palmer working the scene. You heard just a moment ago, and we were unable to establish clear connection with her, but you were probably able to hear through her cell phone that there's quite a bit of commotion.
Sure, sure. And we have Chopper 2 on the way as well. Jim Smith is flying there as we speak to try to get a closer look and to see what else is going on there. You can imagine the entire buildings, all of World Trade Center is being evacuated immediately, and as well as the area around there. So traffic, as you mentioned, Michael, of course, is going to be chaotic for the rest of the day, no doubt. Again, folks, we're looking live at an unbelievable scene, an absolutely unbelievable scene, harkening back to the bombing, of course. This is not a bomb. We understand that a plane, an actual airplane, has crashed into the World Trade Center, Tower number 1, building number 1. As you look at an eerie shot there of the Empire State Building to your right and the World Trade Center to the back, with the black smoke billowing out of the top stories of the World Trade Center Tower number 1.
Quite a sizable hole, as is quite apparent there. Unable at this point to see any pieces of plane or anything that would indicate to us that it was in fact a plane. Again, we are going on reports, and clearly up at that level, it's hard to imagine it could be anything else at all. The reports of the debris falling to the ground. We have working hard right now to talk with the FAA,
right,
the Port Authority, to get any information to you as far as what plane, what type of plane, who's involved, how many people in the building. Marcella Palmer working it from the ground.
It obviously, though, Michael, is a large plane, if indeed it was. I mean, that's what we're getting confirmation on that, because you can look and see how many sides of this building were damaged, and the smoke is amazing. All looks like, apparently, at least 3 sides, if not all 4 sides of the World Trade Center building have been damaged by this collision. Unbelievable scene, folks. I'm sure they're bringing back memories of about, 1990 World Trade Center bombing. We're getting somebody. We have somebody on the phone. We're working on it. Okay.
Our information center is now working on contacting somebody on the phone. We don't want to add any more confusion to the mix. However, we are under the advisement now that CNN has spoken to who they believe was a witness who has told them that it was a twin-engine plane that perhaps hit the World Trade Center. It's a witness report only. I want to emphasize that. That's the story that CNN is able to help us compile at this point. But as you can see, a very, very fresh and horrible scene as the smoke just billows from the top section of the Tower 1 of the World Trade Center.
110-story building is what Tower 1 is, and you can see it's obviously on the upper levels of Tower 1. We're trying to effort information, folks. This just happened. Again, as Michael just mentioned, CNN is quoting a witness who says that he or she saw a twin-engine plane flying right into the Trade Center. Unfortunately, we do not know at this point where that twin-engine plane or where that airplane, we're not sure if it's a twin-engine, 737, may have originated from, where it was heading, which of our 3 airports. Obviously, this is going to affect airport traffic as well, as the entire city comes to a standstill right now as we look live at an apparent plane that has crashed into the World Trade Center.
We're giving you every possible angle that we can come up with as we have fixed cameras all across the city, taking a live look. We're looking at it along with you for the very first time, the heavy black smoke pouring from the top of this building. Reports now that a plane of some type has impacted the World Trade Center. Crews always on the way, working as hard as we can now to get you more information.
All right, we're jotting down notes as we get them. Do we have that person ready? Okay. We're efforting, folks. What I'm talking to my producers as well is trying to get information. As we're efforting information, we're trying to reach witnesses who may be there live at the scene and able to give us a first-hand account. Witnesses, we do understand from the Associated Press, reported hearing a huge explosion. Also more eyewitnesses saying they saw a small commuter plane crash into the building. So we're getting 2 accounts there, Michael, from witnesses, according to the Associated Press, who saw a small plane. So perhaps that's indeed what it was. It doesn't matter. The extensive damage has been done. Not sure, again, of any injuries, albeit there've got to be several, obviously, from looking at this. We're trying to get that again. Marcella Palmer on her way. Talked with her by cell phone. Unfortunately, her cell phone got disconnected. Go ahead.
We're just saying that we're now getting reports from the Associated Press that witnesses reported hearing and seeing that huge explosion, heavy smoke, as you see there billowing from the top, and several witness accounts now kind of siding with the CNN version of the story that it was a twin-engine plane. Not to say that we know for certain. We don't want to make any assumptions, especially this early on, as you take a look at it along with us as we're piecing together the information for you as it's developing. Understand right now, though, we do have somebody joining us on the phone.
Yes, Paul Schwinger is on the phone live to tell us what he saw. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning.
Go ahead, take it away. Where were you and what did you see?
Well, I was in my apartment pretty much right under the flight path of this plane in the village. and I heard this really, really loud noise go by, and I thought it was an Air Force jet on display. So I looked right out the window, and I saw this twin-engine plane fly right over my house, and it was losing altitude. And then I saw the impact and the explosion, this huge ball of flame. And the plane looked either like a 737 or an Airbus.
737 or an Airbus. Okay,
Yeah.
and I understand you're an airplane aficionado?
Yeah.
Okay, what do we mean by that?
Well, I couldn't really tell, because by the time I looked up, I mean, I saw two engines, and it was, a smaller style plane.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time I looked up, it was already right over my house and just in front of me, so I couldn't tell the difference between the two.
All right, 737 or an Airbus, according to Paul Schwanger. Now, you heard a loud boom. You heard the boom.
Yes, I heard the boom, and I saw the ball of smoke go up. But that was the impact with the World Trade Center. I didn't hear a boom before that. I just heard very loud jet engine noise.
Okay.
Probably because it was so low.
Right, losing altitude.
And it was losing altitude at the time.
Oh, gosh.
Sky's looking very clear, too. Paul, we understand that you're something of a flight aficionado.
Yes.
So you have some experience.
Right.
What does your experience tell you may have entered into what you're looking at here with such clear skies?
Well, possibly some form of engine failure or control failure.
Do you ever see any type of air traffic in and around your area that?
Well, routinely, this is a routine pattern to come into LaGuardia, to fly south over Manhattan and then out over the bay and then up towards LaGuardia. So this is a routine pattern, but they're never supposed to be that low. And I would find it hard to believe that it was a navigation failure in these clear skies.
Paul, we're hearing that to join in and to confirm what you saw, that a vice president from CNN said he reported seeing a small plane crash into Tower Number 1 as well. And ironically, that is the same tower that the World Trade Center bombing happened in so many years ago that everybody clearly remembers. How about flight rules? Do you have any idea about flight rules?
I'm not sure. I mean, it was following the proper, as far as I could see from my house, it was following the proper path to come into LaGuardia.
Okay, coming from LaGuardia, right. All right, Paul, we appreciate your call, and hang loose, though.
Hey, Paul, one quick question now before you go, Paul.
Sure.
Have you been over near the scene
You can't see
to see anything that's gone on the ground?
No, I can only see the smoke and the flame. Well, just basically the smoke in the air right now, right in front of me.
Mm-hmm. And we see two sides of the World Trade Center definitely affected by this crash. Black smoke continuing to billow out there.
But I hear a lot of sirens going in.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
I'm sure you do. And again, your estimation, what type of plane did
Either an
you report
Airbus A320 style or a Boeing 737.
Okay.
Where do you get your knowledge from? How much time do you have in a pilot?
Oh, it was
seat?
another
Oh, no. Okay.
explosion.
Explosions, multiple explosions, ladies and gentlemen. We just saw another explosion. Obviously,
We're just watching it again. It's the first time. This is
the other tower, ladies and gentlemen. Another explosion at Tower Number 2 of the World Trade Center just happened live on our air.
the first that we had heard, the impact only affecting Tower 1, but as our producers and reporting staff in the field is telling us, and you can see now to the left of your screen, there is fire in the second
lower the
tower.
camera just a little bit. You can see right at the bottom of the TV screen, billowing smoke from a bomb or explosion. We do not know if it's a bomb. I'm speaking out of turn here. A second explosion that just happened. The first we understand was from an airplane. The second we have no idea.
No idea at all at this point what has triggered it. If we could take maybe a wider shot to give us just a different vantage point, just to try to gain a little bit of perspective. And there you can see the situation.
Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. We're in shock as much as you are.
It can't be put into words, and clearly you are looking at it as we are seeing it, as it's developing. We have no confirmation other than Associated Press reports and CNN, and as well as our crews now, that a plane did hit Tower 1, and moments ago you saw the explosions in Tower 2, and at this point no word on the cause there, no word on casualties. This is happening just within the last 30 minutes, the initial impact into Tower 1, so you can understand why it is information is slow to gather as emergency crews are racing to the scene.
And not that we needed the confirmation because we witnessed it live on our screen, but the Associated Press confirming that an explosion has happened at World Trade Center Tower Number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, unbelievable. We don't know what this is involving, how it's happened, why it's happened. Another explosion, we're just told. We couldn't see it on our screen, however.
What looks to be, I'm not sure if I'm seeing this clearly. My producers may be able to help me, but you can see shards of glass and other debris raining down, and particularly from Tower 2. I'm told that we have another witness on the phone, Don McLennan.
No, it's John McLennan.
John, I'm sorry. Tell me what it is you saw. Did you just witness
I'm at 200 Park Avenue, the MetLife building. I looked south, and I just happened, I heard the plane go over our building far lower than it should have been and headed straight for the World Trade Center. And I thought, I couldn't figure out where it would, which airport it could be headed for with that route. And then I saw it actually heading below the top of the World Trade Center, and it just hit. And it was a 2-engine passenger jet. There was a ball of fire, and you've seen the rest.
Okay, we just are getting told that second explosion we just saw was another plane?
I actually saw a second ball of flame, and that might have been, I couldn't see something hit because there's a building blocking that part of the view.
Okay.
John, were you able to see any type of identification?
No,
it
was a big 2-engine jetliner, and that's all I know.
Are you able at all to see the street below in the area?
No, we're up at 42nd Street. I mean, I have a great view of the top half of the top quarter of the World Trade Center, but that's it.
Okay.
As we're looking live now at the scene, we should tell you that approximately 40,000 people work in the World Trade Centers between the two towers, each building 110 stories tall. And joining us now on the phone again is John McLennan. He works at 200 Park Avenue and has witnessed some of this unfold.
As have we, just before 9 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. Hello? Just before, John, you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Just before 9 o'clock this morning, an unbelievable event happened, catastrophic event. A plane crashed into the World Trade Center Tower number 1. Not more than 3 minutes ago, a second explosion happened at Tower number 2. We're being told that it could have been another plane, although what we saw was just an explosion. Mm-hmm. And again, Michael, you said 40,000 people work at World Trade Center. Unbelievable, unbelievable. We're efforting. Reporters on the scene are trying to get down there. Marcella Palmer, namely, as many others that we have called in and heading down there. We're trying to get people who have been eyewitnesses to this to call us so that we can hear what they know and what they've seen. We're hearing that it could have been a Boeing 737 or an Airbus from one of our witnesses. On the first tower, we're not still sure about what exactly caused that explosion on the second World Trade Center Tower building. Unbelievable event, ladies and gentlemen, as you look live at 9:07 this morning.
We have no confirmation on the injuries, as Lisa mentioned. We have no knowledge as to how many people involved. However, our producers are telling us now that we do have some videotape of the second plane, and you can see it there on the left making impact with Tower 2. And from our vantage point, clearly difficult to tell what type of plane that is, but it's a horrific scene. And
all right, we've just been told also, Michael, sorry, the New York Stock Exchange is being evacuated, as is, I'm sure, much of Wall Street, if not all of it, as much as possible. But the New York Stock Exchange has suspended trading for the moment as everyone tries to get out of that area. We did see that videotape clearly showed a second airplane, ladies and gentlemen, crashing into World Trade Center Tower number 2. We are efforting as much information as soon as we get it. We're passing it on. It's an unbelievable day. Here it is again, a replay, videotape. You clearly see another plane going into the World Trade Center. Ladies and gentlemen, it's hard to fathom another accident.
It's indescribable as to why any of this has happened. We can't put words in the FAA's mouth or any flight tower information, but you're seeing what we're seeing, and on what seemingly is a relatively clear New York day. Yeah. 2 plane impacts. One you just witnessed there, saw on tape a moment ago. Explosions just 18 minutes apart. The first one before 9, the second one.
Is this our Chopper 2 picture?
Not long after 9. Yeah, this is I believe, picture from Chopper 2. Jim Smith, are you up there?
Yes, we are, Michael and Lisa. We have been forced to stay about 5 miles away from the World Trade Center. A flight restriction has been put in place, but right now we are looking at live pictures. The tower on the left, that is tower number 1. And we can tell you that we can still see the flames and smoke coming out of that. as well as the tower to the right. That is tower number 2. You can see the damage to that about the middle of the building. Just incredible what we are witnessing here from about 5 miles away from the World Trade Center.
Jim, I don't know if you were able to see the videotape that we showed moments ago, and if you have any information at all as to what type of plane and what carrier may be involved.
Well, we did not have that as of yet, Michael. Unfortunately, we were unable to see that video. My pilot, Ed Baker, is right now talking with air traffic control. We're trying to determine what exactly happened here, what type of plane, to be exact, was involved here, as well as the carrier involved.
We're showing people again that videotape that was shot just moments ago of that second plane making impact into the second of the trade centers. Again, both 110 stories tall, 40,000 people working between the two. Jim, from your vantage point, and I know you had mentioned that you're 5 miles away, are you able to see any activity on the ground?
Unfortunately, at this point, Michael, it'd be very difficult to make that activity from the ground. Right now, you're looking at a shot of lower Manhattan, and unfortunately, we can't determine what has happened on the ground, what type of damage has been done to the other buildings surrounding the World Trade Center.
Again, yeah, right. And people we understand the evacuation is undergoing at the stock exchange. They're trying to get the people out of there. Obviously, no word from the mayor on this. Obviously, he's trying to gather information, as are we. Again, trying to send Marcella Palmer down there, but no doubt traffic is quite chaotic right now as we try to get down there. Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking live from Chopper 2 at an unbelievable sight. If you're just tuning in, 2 planes have crashed into the World Trade Center, both in Tower number 1 and 18 minutes after that, Tower number 2, and we saw it here live on CBS2. No word on casualties, no word on injuries for that matter, no word on why or how this happened. We understand the plane may have been heading towards LaGuardia or originating. Yeah,
Details are beginning to trickle into our newsroom now, and Marcia Kramer, joining us with some further information. Marcia, what do you know?
In our newsroom.
Well, Michael, as you know, things are really chaotic at the present time. There are several things that we do know. Obviously, you've already shown pictures of 2 planes that hit the World Trade Center 18 minutes apart. Witnesses are telling us that they heard and they felt the reverberation of the crash as much as 200 yards away from the crash site. NYU Beekman Downtown Hospital, which is the nearest hospital to the scene, has been put on alert. A spokesman there told us right now it is total chaos. There are waiting casualties and security people are all over the scene. Also, there's speculation about what caused the flight, the crash. There is some speculation that it could have been a problem with the air traffic control system. Others speculate that it could be some kind of terrorist attack. It's too confusing and people just don't know what's happening right now. Also, the stock exchange is being evacuated and most of the buildings in lower Manhattan are also being evacuated. Now, there's no immediate word on the injuries or fatalities in this twin disaster. Again, it happened just before 9 a.m. and then again 18 minutes later. The towers, you should remember, were struck by bombers in February of 1993. The plane was coming in low and it looked like a hit at a slight angle, said one witness, a CNN vice president. This is according to the CNN network. Now, witnesses also say that large holes are visible in the side of the 110-story building landmark towers. The tops of the twin towers were obscured by the smoke. Thousands of pieces of what appeared to be office paper came drifting over Brooklyn about 3 miles from Tower 1, this according to another witness. The center bombing on February 26, 1993, killed 6 people and injured more than 1,000 others. In 1945, an Army Air Corps B-25, a twin-engine bomber, crashed into the 79th floor of the Empire State Building in dense fog. We're also told that witnesses report that there were 2 explosions that were about 18 minutes apart. I can also tell you that the mayor's office is having an emergency meeting. You can expect that they will be convening at the emergency command tower, which is at 7 World Trade Center, right across from the scene. That's supposed to be bomb-proof and shatterproof, and they have a headquarters there on the 7th floor. They will probably be monitoring this crisis from that area. Again, Beekman Downtown Hospital has been put on alert. There are waiting casualties, and security is at the scene. That's all the news we have right now. Back to you in the studio.
Marcia, stay with us just a second. If Jim Smith and Chopper 2 could do me a favor and hold this live picture that you're seeing now of the scene. 2 plane crashes, one just before 9 o'clock, the other just moments after. We're hearing, Marcia, from the Associated Press that the FBI is investigating reports of a plane hijacking before this crash. Have you heard anything on your end?
We haven't heard anything yet, but you know, the fact that it happened, see, the thing is that there are two things that happen when you have two crashes 18 minutes apart. It can be one of two things. It can be something that was planned by a terrorist group, or it can be just that the air traffic control system completely crashed. This is going to take a lot of investigating. It's too early to rush to judgment. Right now, I think the major concern for most people here in New York City is getting the people out of the building and treating the casualties. That's why New York City hospitals have been put on alert. I can guarantee you that after NYU downtown evaluates some of the injuries, they will be fanned out to other places in New York City. Bellevue Hospital has a major trauma center. That's not too far away. And all of the emergency medical service ambulances are also on alert. Remember, when there was the prior crash, there were 1,000 injuries. So it's going to take a lot of hospitals, a lot of doctors and nurses to deal with this crisis.
We still see debris falling. Now, do we want to go to Chopper 2 or to our eyewitness next? Is Wake Shaw still there? Not yet. Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Wake Shaw, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. Good morning. And what can you tell us? Where were you and what did you see?
I'm standing on the roof of my building in the Lower East Side, and I had rushed up here to see what was on the news, and I couldn't believe it. And suddenly, a very large jumbo, which might have been an Airbus with navy blue and bright red markings, which might have been an American, some sort of American plane, just suddenly came diving into the building, which was just terrifying because you could see it happening, and it just headed right for the building, which seems to be quite a coincidence.
It certainly is.
I want to take a moment to remind people, it clearly shouldn't bear too much reiteration, but the New York Stock Exchange has been evacuated. That entire area is an area to avoid, the financial district, Lower Manhattan. Clearly a problem area. It can't be overstated. The smoke billowing from both towers.
Oh my God.
What do you see? You see the smoke?
Oh, no.
Okay. Are you able to see something that we're not able to see on our monitor right now?
No, I'm sorry. It's nothing to do with this.
Okay. But you're not able to see anybody on the ground there, Ms. Shaw, huh?
No, I can't. I can't.
All right. We appreciate your calling very much. That's right. We want people to warn people to stay away. And Michael, you've got...
We have a word of a couple of security issues, apparently. Marcia Kramer in the newsroom keeping us up to date with some developments from that end. Marcia?
Situation like this happens, what the city does is go into its emergency command center, and they have a procedure that's been in place for some time since the World Trade Center bombing originally that allows them to deal with crises like this. They have major security people that respond to that scene. It's not only emergency response people, but you'll have FBI, members of the Joint Terrorist Task Force, the New York City Police Department, the New York City Fire Department, and others who are expert in determining whether this was a terrorist attack or just an accident. I can also tell you that as a precautionary measure, the United Nations, which is on the East River, and it is also a tall glass structure which might be in the flight path going to Kennedy Airport and LaGuardia Airport, the UN has now been evacuated as a precautionary measure. Also, again, the stock exchange and most of the buildings in Lower Manhattan are also being evacuated. There's no word right now whether Mayor Giuliani has evacuated City Hall and he has moved to the emergency command center. Again, the New York City Police, New York City FBI office, and others are on the scene. I'm told by witnesses that there are security people all over the scene down there, but again, what they're trying to do is find a way to evacuate the people who are injured, to get the injured out, to get the people who are not injured out of the building, and to evacuate both towers of the World Trade Center. That's all we have right now. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Marcia, you mentioned that the FBI is looking into it. How long do you think it's going to take them to determine this? It's a matter of a phone call, isn't it? Or is it? Because we can call LaGuardia Airport, we can ask them, what about your flight plan? Who was scheduled to land? Who was scheduled to take off? Or not? How difficult is that going to be by, this morning?
Well, it's probably very hard to get information right now for several reasons. For one thing, the Port Authority, which runs the airports, actually has offices in the World Trade Center, so it might be a little difficult for them to have information. But what they do have is a tower at Kennedy Airport and that controls the traffic for Kennedy, LaGuardia, and Newark airports. They can very quickly pull up their radar, and they can go as far away as Boston to pull up the radar from Boston to see if there are any unusual flight plans or any unusual planes that show up on the radar screen, and they can